What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this conversation/reality chat. And listen, guys, here we circle back to talking about Sheree again. Now, for those of you who watched the most recent episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, you saw that she had her sip and see for her granddaughter, which I will say, this is my personal opinion, it was not about her granddaughter. It was the perfect thing to make it about, but it was really about herself because it was just way too grand, over the top. Even Phaedra, when she was on the show and had a sip and see, which was like the first time a lot of people even heard that phrase many, many, many years ago. And as over the top as she could be with her events and things, hers wasn't even that outlandish. But anyway, it was just way over the top. And I said it in my previous conversation discussing her and the sip and see and how she was just so ridiculous to have Martell in family photos that actually wound up being in People magazine. But I will say it again. But I'll also digress. I did not say that Sheree does not love her granddaughter. That's definitely not what I said. I have no doubt that she is loving her adorable granddaughter, and she is. She's a beautiful baby. But for those of you who don't think that Sheree has colorist vibes, she does. And yeah, her children, all of them, are darker skinned. She's not. And so now that she has a granddaughter that is lighter skinned, I mean, I'm saying I do believe that that is something that she is absolutely loving as well. I'm not saying that she wouldn't love her granddaughter any less if the child was darker skinned and her son had a baby with someone that looked like him. But let's just be honest, okay? Sheree definitely has colorist vibes, okay? And just speaking about her character, she's being accused of not being a girl's girl and being messy. And I indeed agree that she definitely is. So some people have been calling her out because of how she had this messy queen named Anthony at her sip and see. Now, if you saw this dude walk in there, you saw that the caliber of the people that were there, and I wouldn't even say just the caliber of the people that were there, but the people that were there, they came in looking a certain way. This dude looked like he came in there ready to bam. He had on a t-shirt and shorts and sneakers, and everybody else that came there, they were wearing things that were seen as more dressy. She had on a strapless mermaid gown, for God's sake, and this guy's strolling up in there looking like he's ready to bust somebody across the head. So as many people who may not care for Drew for whatever their reasons may be, I could understand why she chose to bow out and not attend the event when she found out that he was going to be there. I don't know exactly when she found out, because on the episode she pulled up in the SUV and then she was already in front of the chateau, but she called Candy and she said, I don't feel comfortable coming in there because there's a guy in there that assaulted me. Now, some people may feel like, oh, big deal, he threw a shoe at you. But can you imagine someone throwing a heel? And she said it was a Louboutin. Can you imagine someone throwing a heavy shoe like that at you? That is considered assault. It is. And I don't know if it hit her. She said he threw it at her. She didn't say it actually hit her. But either way, it doesn't matter because he threw it with the intentions of hitting her. That I can understand her not wanting to be around him. And I don't care if he's gay, straight, bi, whatever. You know, he did what he did and she didn't feel comfortable around him, and she had the right to not feel comfortable around him. So people are questioning Sheree and are like, okay, Sheree, why would you have this guy at your sip and see? Drew, she may not be your friend, but she is your coworker, so to speak. She is a cast member, and you would favor this messy queen over Drew that you invited. It wasn't like Drew was uninvited and she just decided to show up. You know, I would have those questions too. So people are saying that she's extremely insensitive for doing this. And I actually thought that it was cool of Candy to confront him and not just take Drew's call, say, okay, well, I understand, came out, speak to Drew and say, okay, well, I'll let Sheree know, and just let Sheree know and then just go about her business and continue enjoying the event. She actually confronted the guy, and she said that I tend to take the side of the person who isn't trying to stir up the mess. And he's clearly there to stir up the mess, because she just asked him a simple question and he was looking like he was just ready to start bucking. You know what I'm saying? So people asked Sheree why she did that. And she said that she doesn't have any regrets about it because she sees him as a friend. And that to me is questionable. Is he really your friend? Or is this someone that you can keep in your pocket, even though you claim that he introduced you to Martell, which I still think is questionable as well. But is this someone that you can keep in your pocket to do the mess and the dirt for you when you don't want to get your hands dirty? I would really like to know. So a lot of people were calling her out on social media about it. So she tweets, "Child, I can invite anyone I want to Capitol my house. What you don't know is I hired extra security outside of production. I paid them for staying over the time planned just to make Drew comfortable. This is definitely not the club they were fighting at, boo." Okay, so first of all, you're admitting that this was a fight. And secondly, most of us don't know Sheree to be the person to pay anything over and above, let alone sometimes just even paying the things that she owes. So who really believes that she hired extra security to be there outside of production and to stay overtime just because you wanted to have this messy queen there and you invited Drew, and you were, if you did that, you were thinking that something was going to go down? Why would you even invite this guy to your house if you felt like it was going to be a situation where you needed to have extra security? I understand having security just for the sake of protecting your home. And there are a lot of nut jobs and crazy people out there. So I get that. But you already had vibes that something was going to go down, maybe. And that's why you had extra security there, just so you could have this guy that just didn't make any sense to me. And so she continues to say, after someone responded to that and said, "You still need to be more protective of women. What a shame." She says, "I will never put any of the girls in harm's way, and we are all adults. Let's be civilized!" ! Girl, the one that's not civilized is the one that you had at your home that came in there with a t-shirt and shorts on and sneakers ready to buck. So she is just ridiculous. And see, this is the thing that one of the things that I don't like about Sheree. I just don't feel that she really is a girl's girl. And she also is one of those people that victim blames. If you recall from many seasons ago, when Sheree was confronted by Kenya after Sheree said something about the Matt and Kenya situation when Matt was physically abusive, and she tried to blame Kenya for him being that way. And Kenya said, look, and she didn't put her tea out there, but she said, look, how can you say something like that, especially knowing your history? And she didn't go into any details. This was before all the stuff came out about how Bob was physically abusive to her. You know what I mean? And none of that is right. It's never okay for a man to be abusive physically, emotionally, verbally, sexually, none of that. It's never okay. Even if I don't care for somebody, I don't think that they deserve to go through any of those things. But Sheree is the type of person that will victim blame. You know, she is the type of person that throws the digs. I spoke about this before, how I didn't care for how she tried to make fun of Nene's son when he was going through some things years ago, and Nene called her out on it, and rightfully so. I mean, I love that scene. I love that scene, you know, and she checked Sheree. And Sheree was sitting there with egg on her face, and then seasons later, it came out how her son got arrested because he was driving with, I guess, some marijuana or something like that. And then she wanted to say, well, yeah, you know, I get it now, whatever. But she's just that type of person that you really can't root for. She makes it really hard to root for her because of antics like this. And make it make sense. If I can find a video, I'll put a link to it in the description box. You can check it out, where he broke down a lot of things when it comes to Bob Whitfield and Sheree. And listen, I've seen a lot of the things already. So he did definitely bring up some new information that I wasn't aware of when it comes to Bob's other children. But the things about Bob Whitfield and Sheree being on Iyanla fixed my life. I remember that. And even though Iyanla can be very male identified, and there's a lot of things that she has said and done that I do not agree with. I don't follow her. I don't follow her teachings, but she hit a lot of nails on the head when it came to Sheree. And Bob called her out on a number of things as well, which a lot of people already saw about her, which is she just really cares about her image more than anything else. And Nene said it about her a long time ago. She said, you're on the wrong team. And she just clearly does not get it. She really doesn't. But, you know, I want to read a comment that someone wrote regarding the situation on social media. This person said, Sheree, you are messy. That Housewives of Atlanta money has given you an arrogant attitude and point of view. Yes, you're an OG, but you're an underdog. I want you to win. Your relationship with Martell is so fake that you have never pecked each other on the lips upon greeting. If that's all you got, do you and get your paycheck. As for Drew, it's called Housewives of Atlanta. If one of your castmates is uncomfortable, why wouldn't your loyalty be with accommodating her? You ladies are losing your class, and it's sad. You gave a flamboyant friend a few minutes of fame and hurt a castmate. Shame. And I think that comment is perfect because Sheree, she does not see the bigger picture. Who knows if the show even comes back next season? Who will come back? None of these people are ever guaranteed to come back. Every season after it wraps, you hear about contract negotiations, okay? So it's never that someone signed for a 3-season deal or a 5-season deal. They can't really do that because they really have no way of knowing if the show has been greenlit to come back. It's always on a seasonal basis. So with that being said, as much as she has boomeranged back and forth, you would think she would have a little bit more humility and see herself as someone that is dispensable. So you really want to be careful about how you treat people, but she doesn't. I just can't, I can't stand Sheree. I really can't. And she's used her looks over the years. She is a beautiful woman now. She's done some things recently that are questionable to her face. Even the ass is questionable because I still believe she had a BBL. Your choice if you want to do that. But girl, don't tell me that you got all of that from doing squats in the gym. We don't believe you. But anyway, because I don't know what it is about some of these more quote unquote sophisticated Black women. They now, you know, many, many years ago, Black women, they would not admit to having their breasts done. But now it's become more popular. So it's like, yeah, I had a breast lift. I had my, boobs done or whatever. But a lot of those women like her, they will not admit to getting some fat transferred to their ass. Yeah, Portia is larger now than she was many years ago when she first came on the scene, but she never admitted to getting a BBL. I still believe that she got something done. And then over the years, she gained weight and she had the baby and all of that stuff. But she said something about her ass got jealous of her boobs, so they just got bigger. That was one scene that happened when she was in the gym with her sister years ago. That was after she had her breast done. And I was like, girl, please, okay? If that's what you want to do, then just say you had something done. Because I think a lot of people feel like just because you're a Black woman, that means that you should automatically have it. So if you admit to having it done, then it takes something away from you. I am not for BBLs, but if that's what someone wanted to do and they did it the right way, they spent the money, they saw someone who really specialized in that versus going to some back alley, the back of some hair salon, or into somebody's hotel room and allow them to plump their ass up with Fix-A-Flat, then by all means do what you got to do. But anyway, Sheree, I just can't get with her. I may not be the biggest fan of Drew. I'm honestly indifferent. It's just some things that's just like, girl, just be honest. Who really cares if you kiss a girl? I guess you're trying to protect your image because your mom is really into the church, and maybe you have really been into the church at some point. People who know you from back home, they watch the show and you don't want to admit to being that way because of being judged or whatever. But it just makes it hard for people to really root for you when they don't see you as being honest. But whatever someone feels about Drew, you can't deny that Sheree is just wrong. And I just can't get down with her. I really can't. Sorry about the things that she went through with Bob. But after that expose that Make It Make Sense put out there recently, it's starting to look like she might have been a freaking mistress. And I'm not saying that she deserved to be treated badly, but now I'm just looking at things through a whole different lens, even more so now when it comes to her and that marriage. Because when we used to see things on the show about how he isn't paying child support, how he isn't doing this, how he isn't doing that. And I remember when he won in court, when Phaedra was representing her. Listen, trust and believe, if he really owed money, like she was saying, the courts would have awarded that money to her. So to me, it sounds like there were some things that she did not abide by in the divorce decree that caused her to be sanctioned. But she will never admit that because Sheree is a liar. She will never admit the wrong that she did. She will always just come up with excuses. She loves to do the deflecting, and then she'll speak in the high pitch and start asking other people questions versus just answering the questions that were asked of her. I just can't root for her. I can't root for her. That's why some people call her She by Sheen. She by She ain't got it. She by she can't pay. It's just so many things, like, because she is an A1 joke. There's nothing serious about her. And to be honest with you, I really feel like she's lazy. That's one of the reasons why her entrepreneurship ventures never really popped, because I just feel that she's a person that really doesn't like to work. She doesn't like to pay. And as an entrepreneur, trust and believe, I've been an entrepreneur since 2006, okay? The last thing you can do being an entrepreneur is being lazy and not wanting to work. You have to be sometimes the first one in and the last one leaving. I don't care how much money you have, unless you have gotten to the point when your business has grown so much where you don't really need to be there. But I've had people that have pursued trying to buy my business, and they say that my business is the best type to buy when it's owner operated. Yes, I have employees, but I work my butt off. I'm not lazy. She is a lazy human being, and I just don't have any respect for her whatsoever. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.